teach men to?
I talk about it all the time.
You do. You talk about how to deal with the girl, and the girls are not always going to be nice to you, and rejection is tough to deal with. Like, Burton, I get it. Like, if they're saying you're not this, yeah, it probably is on them, but it only takes one. Yeah. You know, you got to just keep at it. Like, you're going to find the one. If you give up after, 50, you got to keep going.
No, with my kids, I tell them all the time, you always have to think to yourself, what's the worst that could happen? They might say no. If you tell a girl I like you and she says, that might be about her. I said, and if you think someone's pretty, you just tell them, hey, I think you're a really pretty girl. And that's it. I said, she might say thank you to tell a girl she's pretty.
I think it's
great. I like it when I'm out and some man says, even if a man is married and he goes, hey, I just want you to know that I saw you from across the bar. I think you're really pretty. And I think that's nice.
I think that should always be okay. I think we're going to come back to that societally. I think I brought this up that, you know how people put their pronouns in their signatures, their preferred pronouns, he, him, his, they, them, whatever it is. I think the women should put their preferred compliments in their signature. Hot, pretty, beautiful, whatever you want to be called or whatever the circumstance you want to be called, throw that in there. Let us know that it's okay. Wear a little green chip like they do at the Brazilian barbecue restaurant. Okay. That I'm able to be complimented. And then the guys who like to do that, go for that pool.
Absolutely. And I think this guy, he's selling himself short. Absolutely selling himself short.
Literally? He sounds short.
Well, he says he's short, Burton. But there are also short girls out there, and there are also tall girls that like short guys.
There are. A lot of tall girls actually have a bigger pool because they're like, I'm taller than everybody anyway. Let me go for the short guy. Let me go for the confident guy. Burton, it sounds like you've lost your confidence, and that's the biggest problem. It takes one.
I would agree.
Jenny had 5 marriages, still only needs one. Doesn't need 6 marriages. Yeah. And people are, I'll say this to both Burton and Jeanette before. The last couple of years have been a little rough for everybody. People are a little angrier, a lot more lost, a little bit off their equilibrium, and it's causing us to act and react in ways that are not necessarily smooth at best and polite at worst. It's going to take us a couple of months, maybe even a couple of years to shake off 20 and 21, I think, and get our mojo back.
But I also think if you're exuding that type of energy, then that's what you're going to attract. So if he's going out thinking, there's a bunch of bitches out here, then he's going to attract another bitch.
You can't walk into the restaurant looking for the bitches or wondering how it's going to go bad. You still need to walk around wondering, where is she? The next time you get in my car, it's like, I'm going to fight over a parking space with the most beautiful girl in the world, and it's going to happen. Today is the day.
Today is the day.
Today is the day. It's going to happen. Like, you're focused on tomorrow, what happened last night. Those people don't matter anymore. That experience doesn't really matter. Right? You learn from it, you grow from it, and you're on. The next one matters. The next question is going to matter here, but we do have to pay the bills around here, so I got to take a quick break, and we will be back right after this. And we are back. I am here with Parenting Unfiltered host, the lovely Jenny Sosa. And she's helping us give some wisdom and some balance and some calmness. It's very calm the way you're sitting there, you're sipping a wine, and you're giving reasonable answers. Nobody needs to get so aggravated at this that you have to sit down and write the great love debate something. Work it out. But we're happy to answer these questions. The next one is from, Mr. Lucky. We'll see about that.
Well, he's confident.
Just outside of Philadelphia. I read this one before. This is an interesting one. Okay. Someone on a recent episode made the joke about guys who live with their parents. Well, I am 36 and I live with my parents. They have a giant house. My dad is very rich. I have my own section of the house. I make good money as a day trader. I drive a nice car and basically would rather live here than in some one-bedroom apartment somewhere. I want a house just like this one and don't want to settle for something small just because people have issues with it. I rarely see my parents. It really is that big of a house. We have a boat and a pool and tennis courts on the property. Would a girl really not rather hang out here than go back to some dump in a bad neighborhood just because her friends say that's better? That's Mr. Lucky just outside of Philadelphia. I'm going to guess that's not Camden, and that's probably more like Cherry Hill.
Mr. Lucky, call me.
Or something. Yeah, hey, right. Interesting point. The only red flag of all that to me is like, I make good money as a day trader. That means you're still hanging out in the house, not doing much.
You're hanging out at home. But here's the thing. If you make good money, why would you be living in a dump?
Good point, but maybe he's like, I'm going to go from here to equal to here. Yeah, which it does. Again,
okay,
good point.
That's not the
you
progression.
Can get a nice
You're a trust fund baby.
condo. I go get a job because it looks to the girl. If you're like sitting at home day trading, to me it looks like you're sitting at home playing video games.
You can make a lot of money day trading. I've dated day traders.
I get it, and a lot of them do it. That's great. You're professional gamblers. A lot of those people have stress-related issues, and maybe you just want to go then swim in the pool and play tennis and all that. Interesting point. Would you rather have a guy who lived at home in the mansion to go on a date, or would you rather a guy who did not live at home but he had kind of a crappy studio? Not that there's anything wrong with either one, but what would you rather? That's an interesting question.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the living at home if you're taking care of your parents.
Right, that's not the scenario here.
And what happens if we're messing around or
he has his own way.
I walk into the kitchen and I don't have clothes on. I mean, that's kind of a problem, right?
Is it different if he lives like in the pool house or the garage, the room above the garage? Is that different?
How old are the parents? When are they going to die?
Does that
might make a difference.
All right, let's assume Mr. Lucky. Let's assume because he doesn't bring that up. He's not taking care of them. He really likes the perks of the manse in which he resides.
He is going to end up with a girl who is wanting to inherit his parents' money. Period.
I think that is the answer, because you don't have anything of your own to show who you are in anything. You are essentially, and you could say like, well, this is my family and this is me and this will be mine. It does sound like he's treading water to get to that. The girl who's with him is also going to be treading water to get to that. Is that bad?
As for the girl, I mean, yeah, it's kind of really bad.
But you're not answering the question. What would you rather have? Tiny little apartment?
No, I'd rather than be self-sufficient than
you would than living off the parents.
Yeah,
because I don't trust.
If he lived with the parents and was taking care of them, I would be fine with that. But him just living there because he wants to reap the benefits of the big house.
And props on the day trading and all you crypto millionaires out there and all that kind of stuff. I would not trust that you are not going to inherit all this and gamble it all away with your day trading. Like, things can go really bad really quickly when that's what you're doing. It is essentially, and good if you can do it, and great, it is gambling. I also wouldn't trust, put it this way, my parents live in a big house. I'm not sure I'm getting it. So I wouldn't rely on this is all going to him, so I'm going to date him. I do think, Mr. Lucky, that the most girls would rather have you be like, it's not much, it's mine, and I have a good, and I work. He says, if you say you work, then you shouldn't be ashamed of whatever you live in.
Absolutely. I've been with people who their parents have money, and I would rather see them live on their own and have their own job and have that security and their own entity, their own identity, than live off of the parents.
What has changed?
Your confidence is totally fucked up if you're just relying on the parents.
Totally agree. And you need to show that you're able to take care of yourself and her down the road. What has changed, I think, a lot over the last, 15, 20 years, parents used to be like, I cannot wait for my kids to go out of college and get out of the house and be an empty nester. Now the parents want the kids at home. They want them around at 26, 28, 30 in a way that didn't used to be the case. I think it's because a lot of parents are like, we're friends and we like to hang out. We do the same thing. A lot of parents want to buddy their kids, and there isn't quite that line. But more and more, not for financial reasons, I see the parents encouraging the kids to stick around for an extra decade.
I'm hoping to make mine self-sufficient individuals
like
that
14.
Can get a job and go out on their own and feel good about themselves.
Yeah, you come home if you're taking care of me. Yeah, that's it. Bring me stuff back. Pay me back. That's right. I agree with you. Mr. Lucky, I agree with the women on this. I think you're wrong. I don't think you're and I don't know about calling yourself Mr. Lucky. Is that your dating?
Well, obviously it's not that lucky. It's not working out so far.
I know. I don't know. Weird one. All right, next one. From Tracy via our Facebook page. Swipe culture has ruined it for me, and I imagine all daters. Every guy I go out with is constantly checking out every other girl. They're always in their phone. I have a feeling they are thinking about or searching for their next date before they're even done with our date. I know you always want to talk about, quote, selling hope, but at what point is all hope lost? First of all, I hear this swipe culture thing a lot, like things have changed. We used to walk around the bar 50 times. That was swiping. We used to walk around and around and around, do the laps until we saw somebody we liked. That is no different from what we do online. It's probably even worse because we had real live people there. And we used to do that anyway.
I'm going to go against you on that one, Brian.
You think it's different?
I think she's definitely onto something there.
What is the difference?
So the problem is that, like she said, they're already looking for the next date before they give the first one a chance. So I tend to, if I'm going through on the swiping apps, right?
Looking for their sixth husband before they're done with 5?
Yeah. I'll go and I'll see a couple of people that I might chat with for a moment. And then when there's one I decide I'm going to go on a date with, I stop talking to everybody else and give all my effort to the one person and see what's going to happen. If it doesn't work, okay, then I talk to the next one. But especially after, let's say, 2 or 3 dates, if we've gone on multiple dates, I'm going to give that a valiant chance before I keep talking to everybody else. And I find that I have dated men that they still are constantly talking and chatting, and then their focus is all over the place. Right. So it's always like, well, maybe this one's better. Well, maybe that one's better. So they don't give an actual chance to the person. Now, where you go to the bar like you're talking about, you can't keep talking to all of them.
I agree with that. And I also look at it like, I think a lot of people are like, date as many people as you can at the same time, and you're not committed to anyone, blah, blah. I don't agree with that. You don't order 6 bottles of wine. You order 1, and if you like it, you continue to drink it until it's gone or you don't like it anymore. You know? You don't order a flight of wine for dinner. You just don't. You hope you like that bottle, and you stick with it. Here is the difference. You're right about this, and what's her name? Tracy. She's right about this. We didn't have 6 or 7 different possibilities on the hook at the same time back when we dated the people face to face. We couldn't even logistically do that. Somebody might be talking on various apps or various scenarios, like 4 or 5 different people. So you aren't as committed to the one date, men or women, because you still have these conversations going. And so you're constantly evaluating, am I with the right one? And people started dating volleyball style where they hit and they rotate and they go around. You're not all in enough on the one date because you have 6 other conversations going at the same time. That's different.
It's absolutely different. And that's also, so many people are on so many different sites at the same time. So for me, I pick one, I try it for a couple of months, and then if I feel like I'm kind of bored with that one, I'll move to another one. And it's funny because you'll see a lot of the same people.
I figure you would, yeah.
But at least it's maybe a few different ones, right? And then I'll try that. But even within one app, when I start talking to a couple of people,
right,
once I meet somebody, I go, okay, I'm not going to talk to all these other people right now. I'm going to focus on this and see if this could be something. And if it's not, then I move on. And listen, if that person's not there when I go back to the app, then that means they weren't for me anyway. Right. It wasn't the right time. It's fine.
You got to give date 1 from the time that person said, would you like to go out sometime? You've got to at least put enough blinders on that you're giving that person an honest chance through the date till the date is over, maybe till the next morning or that.
And if you ask them out again for the future, don't talk to 20 other people.
I brought up the volleyball team. That is the way, like, you serve and you get it in, you get to serve again. Same thing. You keep serving until you hit it out. Yeah. So I think that's true. Until you decide you don't like the person, once you say, I want to go out, because you not only are giving the other person a fair shot, you're giving yourself a fair shot to find out if this is something here.
For sure.
If you're dating 6 people, it's because you don't like one.
Correct. And which means none of them are the one.
None of them are the one. So you should just wipe your cookies and,
wipe it clean and start over.
Yeah, clean it up. Yeah, move. Do you find different? Have you been on all the apps at one point or another? Is there a different kind of person?
I've on different apps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the eHarmony people, I think, are more serious because it's a lot more work.
So I haven't been on that one. I did go on a single parenting app, sort of by accident. But once I got on it, I was like, this is kind of cool. There's fellow parents.
Is that make it easier or harder?
I like when someone has children because